Ancestral wisdom can be viewed in many different ways. It can be viewed as sort of an artifact of obsolete primitive culture, or it can be viewed from a wider perspective. And I think the wider perspective that we offer collectively at um, Eagle Condor and Golden Threads is that is that for the vast majority of human history, what we would characterize as success, successful living, successful navigation of the challenges of being physical humans on this planet, embodied souls. For the majority of that history, when we think of success, um, success has really been with native, many native cultures. Um, and what we're not saying is that if we look back into the deep past, that every single culture, indigenous native culture that has walked the earth has been successful and has walked in balance. No, we understand that the human experiment has been a tough one, and that our punctuated evolution, especially since the last ice age, has been replete with real challenges, and that we, collectively have been, like it or not, a fairly destructive species on the earth. That said, there are many cultures, and one culture that lives and thrives today that we hold dear in our hearts and work closely with, and those are the cultures of the high Andes in Peru. And like the Andean peoples, many of these cultures have a way of understanding, a way of being, a way of relating to um, spirit, to the earth, to their community that is harmonious and far less destructive, that focuses on caretaking, that focuses on a concept that is woven throughout native cultures all around the world, this idea of sacred reciprocity. The idea that I, as an embodied soul, am here for service, to connect, to enjoy and fully experience the miracles of what life is. And these things together, in many ways, stand as antidotes for so many of the ills of Western industrialized culture. That the simple imperative to make priority number one taking care of one another, taking care of the earth, being present and joyous, has, basically been revealed to me in my travels and the privilege that I've had to know, and it's in some periods live with these incredible extraordinary people. What I discover is when I go down and I ask about stress, when I go and talk to these people about cancer and heart disease, they're like, stress? What's cancer? What's heart disease? These are the healthiest, happiest people that I've ever met. And I am certain beyond the shadow of a doubt that that health and that happiness originates from a different cosmology, a cosmology that places each person and each community at home in the universe. To use Stuart Kaufman's adage. And part of our suffering is due to the unintended consequences of intellectual and technical revolution, the unintended consequences of what happens between our ears and the brilliance of our brain. If the brain is driving things, what we've kind of come to understand, especially through the lens of native culture, is that we oftentimes overlook the systemic effects of the choices that we make with these new innovations. And every revolution of the mind, whether it be political or scientific, has a dark underbelly. And that dark underbelly has oftentimes, very oftentimes, led us to feel more alienated from the core of life, to be more separate and at odds with the great nature of things.